Hello. Um, Welcome to my YouTube channel. Just starting this off. I am a car guy, and I figured that maybe if I ever got a cool car that I would enjoy working on and sharing, that I think that would be pretty neat to do. I have done that. I have a couple cool cars. Uh, I think my favorite one is probably going to be the one I'm about to show you. But I also have another car that I think that I could probably make some cool content with. I just got this car in kind of a condition that was, I guess you could say, conducive to making a YouTube channel. It is in need of a lot of love, and it's my dream car. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you, if you see this, I don't know if this will ever be a lot of people, but a lot of you might be like, hey man, I grew up when you did too, and that is also my dream car. So considering the state I got it in, I just uh, wanted to just document, kind of like journal what I'm doing with it, what my aspirations are to do with it. I don't know where it's going to end up. I just want to get it back to a streetable, drivable condition, um, and kind of just take everyone along the journey with me and just see if it works out. Like, go do some fun stuff and be silly and ridiculous and meet some cool people along the way, hopefully. So far, this community's been really nice to me, very welcoming, very supportive, helping me spend my money. And I am doing this without any sponsors. So the only sponsor I have is my own wallet. And, you know, when you guys see it, you'll understand how heavy of a burden that can be. And I guess without further ado, I'll show you the car.
Drawing pictures in the sand with your hands, with your hands. You look back at me and sparkle, beautiful, sweet and sad.
Switching to my phone. I see why people use multiple cameras now. So as you can see, it's needs a little bit of love. The good is it's a factory twin turbo car. It wasn't automatic. I've swapped it to T56. I've already done that, so I wasn't gonna undo that work for YouTube. There are some things that I had in there that were pretty minor that I pulled out of the car just so I could kind of like document what's going on. Other good things, it's, no damage. I really wanted a US release car, like a USDM vehicle. I'm not a big fan of right-hand drive. Like, I think they're really cool. It's just that I personally don't want to drive one unless I'm like in Japan. That'd be cool, right? Having like a 34 or a Mark IV in Japan and driving around in there, over there. But yeah, so it's no accidents. It's a straight body. Purchased it here in Florida, like every other Supra. This is where they're born. I don't know if you knew that. That's a scientific fact. It's irrefutable. It's got a lot done to it. It did. And unfortunately, not everything about it is all rainbows and unicorns and super great. Body-wise, it's great. It's mint. Previous owner has done a couple things that I may not necessarily like he did respray the inside, as I'm sure you caught. It does look like it's been resprayed, so I guess I could say there's no reported damage, but the frame rails are straight. There's no rust. There's like pretty good paint considering it's like a 30-year-old car almost. I got some dings and dents on me in my 30s, but a lot of work done. So things that are really good that I like: TBT carbon fiber doors. I didn't buy these. Like, I am not the person that purchased these, but the owner has been fantastic. I had an issue with fitment of the door not closing all the way where it secures the glass. Nice secure thud, and as you can see now, I guess I could post the photos I have. Like, there's no issues, there's no gap. This would pop out some, and it was literally as simple as just putting the OEM stopper down there, and it rotated everything in. And I had to do some like finagling with the hinges, of course. The Sibon hatch, I put the little emblems on. I don't know how I feel about this hatch. I do and don't like it. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of carbon over fiberglass. I think it's kind of ridiculous. It's really heavy when you do it that way. So no interior came in this car, none, with the exception of the floor mats, the carpet, the dash, the center console, steering wheel, and the IC7. Other than that, like, not even the kick panels down here and the carpet securing, I don't know what this would be called. I guess those are all also kind of kick panels. I did make a mistake and bought, you can probably tell down there, that is not a USDM kick panel. Came with the glove box, those vents, only one tweeter cover. Probably can't see it because of the glare. Hey, look at that, I'm figuring this out. So one of these is that one. It didn't come with that one, it came with the other one. And then there were some mistakes made by the previous owner, and I genuinely believe it was an accident. Spoke to him about it. He didn't know it had happened. He, him and I came to a compromise about it. He's got nothing bad to say about him. He's a really good guy. He's answered all my questions when it comes to this car, answering those unknowns that you kind of have when you're jumping into someone else's work. Really, really difficult. Some of you might know what that's like. I have only ever messed up my own stuff, so I've only ever fixed my own screw-ups. So yeah, shout out to him for just, hanging out and being a good guy. He hasn't really spoken to me recently. I don't know if that's something to do with the just desire to be done with the car after everything, like it can't feel fun to have to like take that kind of a hit financially. Like, I just am thankful that he was willing to. He didn't just ghost me. I feel like he really did right by me, and he is welcome to do his own thing. Like, I don't think he should be forced to like keep interacting with me if he feels that he's done with the car, like he's moved on. But it could also just be he's super busy. I don't know. I got genuinely nothing bad to say about him. He's a fantastic guy. So if you are watching this somehow, still nothing bad to say about you, buddy. And then so with all the stuff that's missing, like, it's a lot to undertake, and I am not a professional. Just another thing I didn't mention, a lot of things I haven't mentioned, I'm completely self-taught. The only learning I get is from my mistakes, and then reaching out to a very select couple buddies that are supportive and will put up with my million questions. I know some people probably have those types of friends. And then just getting this car, like I said, back to a streetable condition is a lot of work. And as you can see, like, hey, there's a lot that I have to do. And like, how do I go about completing that task? Well, you have to open up the wallet, suck it up, it hurts, and you have to purchase the items that were sold. Small world, it's hilarious. The back panels for the Supra, the quarter panels that are like on the left and right of the back seat, I've actually met the guy who owns them now out of this car, the guy that purchased them from the previous owner, another fantastic guy who's already started helping me out and being super supportive. And shout out to you, man. Hopefully you get the time to watch this video. It'd be great. And then like just awesome support for the community, like, you know, Powerhouse Racing. Big shout out to Lance. He's always there. Not only when I'm trying, like, even before I ever spent money with Powerhouse, just like helping me get stuff together. You know, Rav Performance, answering questions about this car that I didn't have the answers to. You know, TBT. You know, not only do I have the TBT doors, that lip, so TBT doors, and then also, like, I didn't purchase from TBT the HKS Kansai replica lip. I picked that up from the previous owner, you know, installed it. It looks fantastic, as everything that guy does. You know, shout out to him for being there and answering my questions, and like taking, like, he's down, I want to say DR, Dominican Republic. I could be misremembering. It's not something I have off the top of my head. And he's, you know, just been there every step of the way that when I had questions dealing with the door. You can see him on his Instagram. My car's on there. That's neat, with all the other dudes that have these doors too. And then going back to how you get this back to stock, or not stock, but just back to a streetable condition. Like I said, it does take a bit of work, a lot of work, a lot of support that I am thankful that I have, and just knowledge that I've gained over the years of messing up my own cars. And there is another big mistake that I can show. It's why there's no head on this car. Again, and so why there's no head on my car. There is a mistake that was made. Unfortunately, previous owner went to replace the water port with from a push lock to an AN fitting, and just looks like a little mistake was made. Ended up nicking the oil galley, and then that resulted in when I was filling the car up to fire it up, filling it with water, looking for leaks, I found that there was a mistake made with the head. And so some people might have already seen those videos. I'll put those in here, where I was finding that, and thankfully I didn't start the car with the water in the oil, because that would have been just not something I could afford, not at all. And then the T56, so it has a, I don't know if I mentioned that, it has a T56 in it. Put that in. Big shout out to Joel with Grandness Racing. He answered a trillion questions that I had, even though he had instructional videos answering all of the questions I was asking him. Still took the time to respond and answer me. So Joel, if you ever come across this video, thank you. I really appreciate you. Kind of just babbling. I don't really have a, like, I don't know if people script this or if they just wing it like I am. I am just winging it, just kind of like vomiting at the mouth of talking about this car. And as you can see, first thing that I will, actually the other thing that I'm not going to undo to show that it's done is, so Powerhouse Racing triple pump fuel setup, that is all wired up. I did that, and I'm not going to undo my wiring to show that I did that, but I will show the work that I have under the fuel hat. So I wired every pump on its own circuit, so if I ever have to troubleshoot, instead of having like a 6-pin, I have 3 2-pin pumps, and these are not colored wires, right? So this, you can see over here, like these are, I didn't choose colored wires for ground. So my people who are like, oh man, this fool's got colored wire going, like thinking maybe it's a positive. It's not a positive. I just used heat shrink on a black wire after I terminated it to show like which ground goes to which pump. So just like the odds of that actually like being necessary are slim to none. But you know, it's kind of just a nice to have. This is the main power. That's from PH, like that's stock factory. So this is the main power. That's just how it comes from PHR, I believe. Other than like this is actually not terminated. Now that I think about it, this was just a loose loom. So I don't know if this comes terminated or if the previous owner terminated this for me. No idea. And then the level sensor, it's right there. So dash 8s feeds running up to the front of the car, and then stock return. I got to replace that. That's there's a kind of a mess that goes through going from AN to factory return. It's unfortunately not like a push lock to orb fitting that they've put on there. They kind of just have sketchily wired things together. Previous owner said that wasn't him, and I, believe him. Only bad thing back here, little stud was snapped off. Someone probably put some lug-a-duggers on it, not realizing you definitely don't need to. And I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. Genuinely have no idea. If the two people that watch this, if either of you know how, feel free to post in the comments. Like maybe it's just pressed in. I haven't actually looked. Yeah. So where do we start? Getting this car back to being able to tolerate being driven around in Florida heat. Well, a couple of things I picked up are in there. So you can see just a pile of parts, right? A lot of interior trim right here. OEM hood is back there. There's the Saiwan hood we saw. There's one OEM door back there. There is some of this is, broken, like the quarter panel. Not quarter panel, but the quarter covers. I don't know what we call those. Unfortunately, that one does have a piece missing. So hopefully I can find new ones that aren't going to break the bank. Back seats. Two sets of back seats. Going to take whichever one looks the best. We have a HVAC motor over there, so the compressor. No, I lied. The blower motor, heater core, evaporator all over there. We have all the stuff that came off the car to get the head out, because this was at one point in time a working vehicle. Unfortunately, we just had to do so. This was at one point in time a working vehicle. So turbo manifold, sleeper designs, intake manifold, boost lab, Supra 88 turbo, unorthodox racing, boost lab, Supra 88 turbo, unorthodox racing cam gears, PHR, valve covers, ATI damper, PHR, radiator, some other miscellaneous things over here. And then just, as you can imagine, with just a 2-car garage, like it is a mess in here because it's not meant to have a bunch of stuff in here and a car and all my tools. So this is the cylinder head that came on the vehicle. This is where we normally have the just that like a push lock style fitting. You get a push lock style fitting that you just like slip some tubing over, hose over, and it feeds the heater core. Maybe it's the return. I think it's actually a return from the heater core. No, it's the feed. You can see you got a little marred up. Holes a little off center. And this is an oil galley. It supplies the head with oil. Mostly where I saw it was like, when I was pressurizing the system, it was coming out of the water was coming through the journals. And down here we have just a hole that's big enough that when I was filling the car with coolant water, when I got to the 4th gallon of coolant, it dawned on me I have 4 gallons of coolant in a car that doesn't hold 4 gallons of coolant. So I pulled it out. There was no leaks on the ground other than like a very small one and yeah, I'll put the video of draining the non-mixed coolant / water out of my oil pan. But yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I just wanted to introduce the vehicle and just, start somewhere. Again, if anyone watches this, thanks. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, definitely more content to come. So that's pretty much it. Just want to introduce the car and just gauge interest, see if actually just really just bring people along that wanted to. Uh, and the car doesn't stay in the driveway. It's actually in the garage with me right now. I'm not that crazy to leave a U.S. release car, a U.S. release Supra out in the driveway. Lives in the garage, in this tiny garage. For those who just didn't think about it, thought that I was insane. The turbo is, I said Super 88, and that is an 88 millimeter compressor and a 93 millimeter uh, turbine. So I've never had a turbo that big. I can't imagine that thing would be very good for street driving. So uh, probably it's just what I have right now. So keep it for now. See how laggy it is. It's a journal bearing turbo. I don't really know much about Boost Lab. They have a pretty good reputation from what I know of them. I've talked to the dude. He's a really nice guy. He's local here in Florida. I just I gotta see, like if the turbo doesn't want to spool without being on anti-lag all the time, like that's just not gonna be fun. I can't imagine in a 2J makes much power, right? Like if you're not in boost, it's the same as being in A. You just kind of get some whine from the turbo every now and again. So I'd like to have something with a nice streetable like boost curve, but at the same time, don't get me wrong, like I do want like a ridiculous power figure from this car. Like that'd be the full street car, like full internal car being capable of going nines would be fantastic. uh, Another thing I didn't address, so it has TBM brakes on it. Again, those are only a quarter inch, half inch. I forget the thickness of the rotor. Uh, and that is something for those that don't know, like helps dissipate heat. So if you don't have a thick rotor, it'll heat soak, just like a top mount intercooler on a WX or STI would, or any kind of like intercooler that can't dissipate more heat than it takes in. And so I do have uh, twin turbo brake calipers and rotors. Uh, they're down there. And that's the standard 3/4 inch wide rotor vented. So it's gonna pull the TBMs off because they're just not what I need, right? I need, something that is gonna be able to hold up on the street and the strip occasionally. I'm more I'm gonna drive the car. I'm not gonna put it back together and leave it in the garage and never drive it. That's not why I bought it. It's my dream car. I want to drive it. I want to experience it. I want to experience it. I want to have that that fun, have that fun with Supras. People have with Supras. Uh, yeah, yeah. There's something else. There's something else. There's no HVAC vents at all, except for the defroster. And the two defroster vents on the side of the dashboard. So there is a company called Turbo Loader. I think they're out of Germany. I'm assuming here their website's in German, and they do some like reproduction of like all the HVAC components. They do left-hand drive, right-hand drive. They do kick panels. The kick panels weren't very expensive through them, so I bought those first just so I could see what they look like. See what the turnaround time is. They look real good. They look real good. Like I'll probably pick up some of the other parts they have, and then because those are reasonably priced. Like those are reasonably priced. And stuff for the Supra is ridiculous. Like the quarter panel covers that have the speaker grills in them. They can go for $1,000. It's like crazy. You can see some that are not in the best shape, but go a lot cheaper. But stuff that's in like good condition, it's like stuff that stuff that starts for a Supra. It's like the starting price is $1,000 for something that's just it's not made anymore. So can get away with charging that. There's a lot of stuff that's still made by Toyota, and a lot of like wear items. And there's some cross components between other models of cars. So it's not like you gotta exclusively get Supra stuff. So like a lot of stuff from like SC300 mechanically will cross over. And unfortunately, as far as like interior panels go and HVAC stuff goes, for the most part, you gotta have the super specific stuff. And in my case, it has to be left-hand drive, which is significantly less of those. So there's even more of a premium on the left-hand drive stuff. Kind of rambling. Just again, one of the journalists. And the welds. I love welds. Those will stay on the car when I go to the track. I do have a set of Blitz Type 01s. They need some love, like everything else. So those will probably be the daily driver wheels until I get another set of wheels or something that's just more like I don't know, maybe I'll keep the Blisses. Two-piece wheel. I can go over them. That's nothing. Like we make some content of, and yeah. So next video, we'll be putting the interior back together as much as I can. Probably do that sometime next week. And then hopefully I'll have a word on the head. And once the head comes back, whatever I'm working on is going to stop and transition because the car was going to start. This was at Christmas time. I was putting coolant in it, putting distilled water in it to get it ready to start. So I got idle it, and then start telling people about tuning it. But unfortunately, like I said, when it dawned on me, I had 4 gallons of coolant in, unloaded it doesn't hold 4 gallons of coolant, especially not without a heater core, even if I do have a little bit bigger of a radiator, it's like 9 liters, and that's roughly like 3 gallons. I don't know the math on that off the top of my head, I'm no mathematician. But yeah, like it was like oh shoot, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's find this. Previous owner had kind of highlighted. Hey, look, did that water fit in to AN? Like he kind of mentioned a couple times. So I kind of was a leak at first. I thought it was a leak. I was just hoping it was just not seen correctly or something. But unfortunately, went into the oil passage and had a lot of oil or water, and so it just flooded the oil system. So pull the oil pump. I'll pull the oil pump. Make sure that there's no water left in there. There was no cranking done. Was there cranking done? There might have been some. But there was no motor. So I didn't have fuel because the fuel pumps weren't hooked up. I needed to check the system before I was comfortable turning the car on. So there's every fuel. So there's no low motor. Hopefully, it's always possible there was some damage to that. I kind of doubt it. But there's anything possible. You never know. I don't know who outside components are on this block. TEC built the block. It's got a serial number on it, so I should probably reach out to them and see what they think. It's not terribly concerning. It's doubtful that there was any damage done. But yeah, guess that's it. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. For those that watch this, I think that's a law. You gotta say like thumbs up, subscribe. I don't have a merch store. This is my first video. So one day. What?